Hello everyone, this is Calvin, Professor C. Happy New Year! I am very excited. This is the first video for 2019. Today I'm going to change my video a little bit. You know, in 2018, all of my videos are teaching you how to do a mortgage, how to become better mortgage agent, and that's still my main goal. But I want to make some change in 2019. Now, today in this video, I actually went to interview a company's CEO. This company has a very unique software platform that I think would benefit a lot of mortgage agents, like whether new or in the industry for a long time. So without further ado, let's go into the interview, and then I will also have the CEO demonstrate their software to you. So if you want to do more business and also in an easier way, stay tuned. So, all right, I am with Mohammed right now. Moregidge, yeah, this is the high-tech startup mortgage company. So yeah, this is actually my first, video interview with anyone.
Okay,
so you're
great.
My first guest.
Great,
we are both learning. So why don't I start with Mohammed, with a question of, maybe tell us a little bit about your background, how you get into this company.
Sure, yeah. So I started my career in the startup tech scene. So I worked for, one of my first careers was with a company called Flip. If you're familiar with them, they're a mobile app for flyers and coupons. But that's essentially where I got my break into the tech scene. And I worked there for about 5 or 6 years. I was amongst the first sort of 20 employees of that company, and we helped to grow it to over 750 people worldwide before I left the company. So huge Canadian success story, and that's where my passion for tech sort of took off. Now, one of the interesting things about myself is I was also a mortgage agent on the side, and that was my side hustle, let's call it.
Yes.
But I had the opportunity to enter into the mortgage industry because my parents, way back when they were purchasing their first property, had a fairly unpleasant experience with a mortgage broker. And every industry has its bad apples, but I sort of saw an opportunity for me to learn how it works and figure out mortgages, which is something I didn't understand at the time. And so it turns out it was $300, 3 months, and you're licensed to sell mortgages in Canada. So I ended up doing the course for myself. I primarily wanted to do mortgages for my parents, my brother, my own house when I bought it. And eventually I ended up doing mortgages for a majority of the people I worked with at Flip. By pure word of mouth. And I worked for a major franchise at the time called Chinto, which is still pretty big across Canada. But the two biggest things I noticed when I sort of saw an uptick in my own volume was, number one, set the support that I was looking for, whether it be at the brokerage or the network level, wasn't to the level that I wanted it to be. But number two was having a technology background. The tools and the systems I needed to help facilitate the transactions again, we're also not up to the level that I was expecting. So I ventured out to build something for myself that eventually turned into a business idea. And the way we started it to validate whether there was a need here was we actually launched an Instagram page. And the Instagram page had just mock-ups of what our idea of this platform looking like would be. And in a span of a week, we had 100 mortgage brokers reach out to us saying they wanted access to our platform.
Wow.
It was a huge, like a much bigger response than we expected. And that sort of pushed us over the edge to start building something. And, we've got something tangible here. And we started building against it. So, fast forward about 4 or 5 months of part-time evenings and weekends and trying to build a product. We built something that was viable to put out in front of brokers. And so we've fully launched our product in August of this year, and we've got a couple hundred brokers on our platform right now that are actively using it, and they see the value of now having a tool that serves as a CRM, that serves as an email marketing tool, that connects to FileLogix, that collects their documents, etc. But you've now got a single platform that allows them to connect and collaborate with their applicants all within one system. So that's kind of how we got to from where we started to how we got to where we are today.
So at the very beginning, it is your own kind of little project.
Yeah.
And so obviously right now, how big is your team?
So right now we've got 7 people on our team.
7 people.
Yeah.
Okay. So how does you grow your own project from 1 people to 7 people?
Yeah, and it's really twofold. So when we started out, like I said, we had early validation of people, interested in it. But the true measure of whether we had something was whether people would use it after we built it. So we went heads down on building a product that was viable. We put it out into market, and we saw an enormous response from brokers saying, "This is exactly what I've been looking for." Just like you're here today, a lot of brokers actually asked to come out to our office to run through the product to learn a little bit more about it. But how we got to 7 people was really. We put our heads down, built a product that people needed, and then eventually tried to figure out what the value of that product was.
At the beginning, are they all they just all their side hustle? Like, are they all doing their full-time job while working on this project?
Yeah. So our team actually started. We built this part-time for about 4 to 5 months, evenings and weekends, before we converted over to full-time. So it wasn't really until July of this year that we all took the plunge. We all quit our full-time jobs and we said we're going full-time into this venture. Okay. And we converted over, and we've been in it ever since.
Did you manage to get any funding at the beginning? How does you survive the first
So we felt strongly enough about what we had in front of us that we all took the leap of faith, let's call it, without having funding in our hand. So we all dipped into our savings because, again, we felt like we were doing something that was worth it, but we were also fundraising in parallel. So we were having conversations with not only the brokers who were signing up to our platform, but the investors that were interested in what we were building as well, because there was a huge focus in fintech in 2018, and that's carrying over in 2019 as well. So we felt like we were approaching it at the right time. So we actually went about almost 3 to 4 months without funding, and we were dipping into our savings. We ran a lean operation just before we started raising our first round, and we were lucky enough to have exposure not only to angels in the Toronto area. We've got investors out of the US right now, based in Silicon Valley, and we've generated a ton of interest in the last month or two based on the traction we've seen thus far. So very stressful at the very beginning when you're trying to build, survive, and try to grow the business and find funding.
You probably have a lot of hats going on.
Yeah. But honestly, it's very different sitting on this side of the table. When you work for a large corporation, which we all have, it was very simple to take orders and then to execute against them. But when you're trying to build a company from the ground up, you have a much larger appreciation for what you're doing. And we've been lucky enough to get what we have thus far.
Yeah. So in a second, we'll go deep dive into the actual platform and take a look at it. So before we do that, I have one more question for you, and that is how would you see this product that you have in, say, about 2 to 5 years? What can it do?
Yeah, so the biggest thing for us, and I'll walk you through sort of the grander vision of our platform. But when we started off as building a platform for mortgage brokers, and the rationale behind that was I was a mortgage agent, I had domain expertise, we knew what we were building. But ever since we started building it, the concept has evolved over time, and what we envision for it is the ability, if you think about the home buying journey or the purchase transaction for consumer, they're essentially starting with a mortgage broker for their pre-approval. They're going to a realtor to find the property they love. They're going back to the mortgage broker for approval. Then they're going to an appraiser, maybe if they need to have it appraised, then to a solicitor. And there's a bunch of different parties that are involved in this transaction. So for us, how do we now streamline or make that entire home buying journey that much easier? And so one of the things we quickly learned when we launched for mortgage brokers was they were collaborating with realtors, appraisers, and solicitors offline anyways. How do we bring them all onto the platform and have them collaborate on an online experience? And so for us, we've actually got a waiting list of 600 realtors ready to join our platform right now. So the biggest thing for us is we're actually going to expand our platform to serve as an ecosystem for this home buying journey. So everybody from mortgage brokers, realtors, appraisers, and solicitors will be able to use it to work together, to the net result being reduced friction for the consumer in purchasing that property. So that's the grander vision for us. We've started with mortgage brokers. We're slated to release our realtor platform later this year, and then it'll continue to expand out from there based on demand.
Very good. Okay, well, so let's look at the platform. All right. So Mohammed, all yours. Tell us about your baby.
Yeah. So, when just for context, when we built the platform, we built it on three principles. So the first one was it had to be intuitive. A lot of the other software available through networks or third-party solutions that were available had functionality, but they were missing the aesthetic sort of intuitiveness of how a broker needs to navigate that platform. So it's not only got to look good, but it's got to be easy to use. And that's one of the sort of principles we built on. The second one is it had to be integrated. So, brokers on average were using anywhere between 4 to 5 different softwares. They were using Salesforce, they were using MailChimp, Dropbox, Google Drive. How do we now consolidate or eliminate all of those different platforms they're using and build one platform that does all of that for them? And the last piece was it had to be transparent. So one of the first things we built our platform on was the fact that there actually is a client portal available for your consumers. So once they submit an application that you'll now receive in your broker portal, they've also got access to a portal where they can log in, upload their documents to you, keep track of the status of their application, and communicate all from within the same platform. So you now truly are collaborating with your consumer instead of them continuing to send you documents either in person or via email, etc. So what you're seeing right now, and the first sort of landing page as you dive into the platform, is the dashboard. And this is essentially the place in which you learn about your business, how your brokerage is performing, and if you've got multiple agents in your brokerage, you'll be able to see their performance as well. So at the first thing you're going to see is a little bit of a tutorial. If you're setting up for the first time, it'll walk you through how to create your first application, how do you customize the platform, add team members, update your profile, import your FileLogix data, and then you're essentially set to go and you're ready to start using the platform. Some of the 3 or 4 high-level stats we've got are, and this is sort of our analytics suite to start, but we're continuing to build on it. Really, you want to understand, how does your business look year over year? So we allow you to compare 2 years. Is the number of applications you're receiving, is that growing, is that decreasing? And how do you start to visualize your data and start actioning against it? The 3 charts you're going to see below here, they're the results of those applications. So how many closes did you have this month of what's in progress? And there's no data in your platform right now, that's why they're crossed out. But how many are incomplete, how many are submitted, etc. And then everything that's been closed, of those, how many have been paid, closed, declined, or canceled? So an interesting story here was, when we onboarded a client, they strictly used FileLogix. They didn't use any third-party platform. FileLogix is a phenomenal tool to submit to a lender, but it doesn't do a great job at visualizing their data. So when they exported their FileLogix data and we imported it into our system, the first thing they learned was, on average, that brokerage had 9 declines across the entire brokerage. Principal broker was unaware of that. So us allowing the broker to visualize the data now allows them to hone in on areas that they can improve within their brokerage and target the agents that they can support or help make better decisions to increase their approval rates. And so just simple visualization allows them to do that. The last thing we have at the bottom here is client activity. So any interaction that happens between you and a broker, essentially communicating back and forth, will be, between you and a client, will be logged at the bottom here. Think of it as a Facebook activity feed, but you'll see any interaction activity that happens on it.
Okay.
If you're a brokerage and you've got multiple agents, you have the ability to view who the agents are. You can add them, enter in their information. They'll get an invite to join the platform. And if they're an agent, you can click into them, view the clients that they're working on. Essentially a typical brokerage hierarchy. One of the things we've got is we've got a partnership with Purview. So a lot of brokers who use Purview are essentially logging into a separate system to pull their reports. You have the ability to enter your username, your password here. We actually use the Purview interface, and you'll be able to download reports directly from our platform to your computer. This is actually a redesigned page. It's called the board. We actually launched this yesterday. So just for context,
this is brand new.
It is brand new. Yeah, just for context, when we launched the platform, we had a separate section for leads, people who were interested in obtaining a property or a pre-approval, and then we had applications. One of the things we quickly learned talking to brokers was, the leads section might only last a 5-minute conversation before they convert into an application. So really, you're thinking about one customer journey, and that's why we combine the 2 different experiences into one centralized board. So what you see here is the ability for you to manage what we call a Kanban board, but it's really the ability for you to manage the different states that you have, respective of how your brokerage operates. So another thing we learned is, no brokerage is cookie cutter. Every brokerage operates in their own way and processes that they define themselves. And so you have the ability to do that, where you can essentially, right now we've got, 4 columns default. You can add a new column. You can customize the state of it. I'm just going to enter, done, let's say, create it. It's now been updated. It's a new state that's available to you. And if you scroll to the right, it's called done. And you can also edit these details.
Can you pull, like if I want to add it in between, you can do that?
So right now we don't have the ability to move it in between. Something that's actually an iteration of this that's coming out real soon.
Okay.
But yeah, once you define your process for the first time, essentially customers will flow through this. So we'll go through the motion of creating a new client really quickly. I'm just going to call it Calvin.
Yeah.
And now one of the key things as part of this change was when you enter an email, we have the ability to track all email communication between you and the customer within our platform. So you can actually email from within our system instead of having to do it through your Gmail.
Oh, really?
And we have the ability to store attachments, documents. The full history of this specific client is now stored in this client profile instead of you managing it from 5 different places.
That is amazing.
So we're not going to enter anything now, but I'll show you what that looks like. And let's just say 416, 111, 111. We have the ability to track refers. And what that means is, one of the things we learned was a lot of brokers' primary source of business is either a realtor, an accountant, a past client. And you have the ability to add refers and track all the different people that are sourcing business to you. And so let's say, you could enter their name, etc. And then we have a refers section that allows you to understand, how much business did realtor X funnel to me this year and what percentage of that actually closed. So you actually start to manage from a data-driven perspective, the efficiency of each of these referral sources. The dollar value is essentially, maybe their mortgage is $300,000. The closing date is January 30th. And you can start adding quick follow-ups and notes. So this is the CRM component of it. But let's say we create a client. They're not going to be available on your board in the first step. If you move them from state to state, you have the ability to move them around as you see fit. We enter dollar values based on the applications that are available to them. If I go into the client, you're going to see a little bit more information now. So we have an activity feed that'll show you notes, follow-ups, emails, etc. You can actually create applications on behalf of this client. So if this is a client who's either purchasing multiple properties, has come back to you several times for a refinance or renewal, etc., you're going to see the full history of everything you've done for them. Again, the whole purpose behind the client profile. And that's what essentially the board is. Now we can move them here from state to state. It saves. If I go back to the board, I'm going to see that Calvin's now been moved to first contact. So depending on how your brokerage operates, you're in full control of that consumer profile. When we talked about refers, again, if you had refers here, it'll show you, and we try to gamify this to a certain extent. So you'll see, who's your first place, second place, third place refers, and you'll have a full list of them. But also gives you an opportunity to see who's not referring business to you, and how do you improve those relationships to get more business from them. Applications is kind of the bread and butter of the platform, and there's really 3 different types of applications we have. This is also changing in the near future as well, but the first one is a full application, and what that does is it's a fully branded experience that allows a consumer to submit an application to Calvin, and what happens is you'll get notified on the system. The one sort of sticking point on that is a user is required to register for an account before they can submit an application. We got a ton of feedback from brokers that they don't want to block their consumers from having to register for an account. And so we heard that and we're changed that. So we've got 2 additional applications before we revamp this and roll out the new version. But the second one is called broker-led. So we still have brokers who meet or who will call their clients to take their application over the phone, or they'll meet them in person. The old way was for you to fill out a paper application, for you to go back to your computer and fill it into FileLogix. Exactly. So what we allow you to do is if you have your laptop with you, your iPad with you, you're going to be sitting with a client, you have the ability to start a broker-led application, and you can actually fill it out with them on their behalf, and it'll create an application in your system. The last one is called a simple application. And this is our quick and dirty way of saying, let a consumer submit their information to you without having to register for an account. And so what you can do here is you can copy this link, and I'll show you real quick. This also serves as a landing page for brokers who don't have a website. But now you've got a Calvin Chan branded experience. Let's say I'm thinking of buying a new home. I'm purchasing it in the next. Actually, let's. I want to show you a few other features. So let's do a purchase actually. And one of the key things to note about this is actually customizable. So we've predefined questions and specific workflows. You can customize it to whatever extent you want. So let's say I found a home that I want to buy. My closing date is going to be the 30th, like I said. Is this my first time home? Nope. What's the address? And we've got little small features like autofill, the ability to show them where it is on a map. You continue. The purchase price is, let's just make, I wish it was 500,000.
Not in Toronto.
In this economy, you've got visual cues to make it easier for them to select what it is. So about a detached property. And then they fill out basic information like first name, last name, phone, email. and just pertinent information that you need in order to start the next phase of the conversation. And now once this is submitted, this will actually create a new activity, a new notification, a new client, and you also receive an email letting you know this client just submitted an application through your platform.
Okay.
And so this really enables brokers to use the platform to create widgets on social platforms, to embed it onto their website, to use it on realtor websites for referral sources, but you really have the flexibility to control the questions and where you want it available to you.
Let me just note that.
Yeah.
So once they submit, what would it say? Like what?
Yeah, so we can go through an example here real quick.
What would the client, like, is there something saying that, or someone would call you, ASAP or whatever?
Yeah, so we have the ability to control that messaging that happens after the fact as well. So we're just gonna make something up here.
Yeah.
And click submit. And so the application has been submitted, and that's where it ends. So there's two things that we have the ability to do there. One is you have the ability to customize this message and control what you want to, do you want to send them a follow-up email? Do you want to send them something else that happens as a result of that submission? The second thing is and this is what we're changing, at the end, they'll be given the option to register for an account should they wish to. So we haven't gated them from submitting their application, so you can still get their information, but they have the ability to sign up for an account and have access to their portal should they wish to get that process started as well. And so when you're back in your broker portal, if I go to dashboard here, and I scroll to the bottom, I'm going to see Calvin create a new application. And so if I go here, I'm going to see Calvin's application just came in here. I can click add to board. And now if I go to board, you're going to see the information pre-populated, etc. And let's click
That's very nice.
Save. And then I'll go back to the board, and I'm going to see the new Calvin that just came in here. And now you can manage this with your team throughout the entire process. And that's what it looks like. So if you go into the actual application itself, again, we store a repository of them. And so you'll be able to see the initial application, when it was submitted. You can click into open the application.
Is it linked to Filogix?
It is. So what we do is we actually we don't auto force to Filogix because it requires a lot of rework and editing. So we actually put the control in your hand, and we serve as an intermediary. So you're going to see the full name, the phone number, the date of birth, what was submitted. If there's any property details that they've selected or submitted, you've got a document repository here, so you can actually start requesting documents through the platform, and they can upload it to you. And then we've got the Filogix tab. So what this allows you to do is enter your firm code, your login ID, and click submit. This will actually create a deal ID for you in Filogix. And you have the ability to now go into Filogix to submit to lender. We're actually working in partnership with Finastra right now, and we're slated to launch something really soon, but it's the ability for you to now pull credit bureaus, submit to lender, templated disclosures, all from within our platform. So you actually eliminate the need to use Filogix moving forward because we'll have that capability available in our platform.
But for now, it's not quote unquote connected to Filogix.
Right now, it's a one-way push to Filogix, and then you submit to lender from Filogix.
Okay. Yeah. So let me make sure that I'm clear. So after I fill in personal detail, property detail, mortgage detail, and document, if I go to Filogix and do that,
click submit.
So I will have a Filogix application on their end. And all this will be filled out.
All the information will be pre-populated into the respective fields in Filogix. Correct.
I see. Okay. And then for those, does it cover all the Filogix field?
So we cover about 80% of the fields right now. The change that we have coming in the next short while actually accommodates 100% of the fields. So you'll be able to not only store all the information you need here, but again, if our plan is to allow you to submit to lender, pull template disclosures all from within our platform, we need to mimic what you do in Filogix anyways to be able to eliminate the need for it. So the next release that's coming out in the next short while is going to include 100% of the fields, plus all the other supported features.
That would be very nice. Okay.
So another part of the platform is something called marketing. So what we essentially had a really early decision to make was, do we want to integrate an existing platform like MailChimp or SendGrid or something along those lines, and then essentially we have to pay a monthly fee, and then we have to pass that fee on to the users that are using it, or do we actually venture out to build our own version of it? So we actually spent a week building our own version of MailChimp. So it allows you to customize your templates, segment your list. So I can create a list, I can import from spreadsheet or import my contacts.
This is totally MailChimp.
You can segment it, exactly. You can segment it, so you can say, I want to send an email to only people who have been referred to me by Realtor X, you have the ability to go down to that level of granularity. Now, what's different between us and MailChimp is because we're sitting on the mortgage data of the consumers, you can filter by users who have a fixed rate, people who are on a variable rate, people who have 30-year amortization, etc. But you have the ability to segment by those different types of information. Exactly. So you have the ability to create different templates, customize it, send out the campaigns. We allow you to send unlimited campaigns and store unlimited contacts. So the difference between us and MailChimp is they're very limited, and there's a threshold until you need to start paying. For us, it's actually baked into our pricing, and it's unlimited across the board for regardless of how much you want to do.
Okay.
A big part of our platform is we allow brokers to sign up individually, or brokers or agents to sign up individually, or you can have a brokerage sign on their entire team. So the first step is, from a personal settings perspective, if I'm an individual agent and I decide to use this platform, I can have my personal settings. I have my own custom URL that I can share with my clients to submit applications to me. My personal details that they'll see. You can connect any email account that you have available for tracking purposes, and then you've got your firm code and any different notification settings. The two other things that we've got are you have the ability to brand this entire platform. So a big reason we did this was, and it is really to avoid customer confusion. So a lot of times we've got brokers and agents using network software, but the downside to it is I'm spending tens of thousands of dollars building my own brand, and let's say in your case it's Chinto Capital. But then when I use the platform, any of the external communication that's going out is going branded as Mortgage Alliance. So you have this sort of disconnect between what consumers are interacting with. And so for us, when we built the platform, we want the ability for brokers to customize it to their specific brand. So we could essentially upload a logo of Chinto Capital here, select your color scheme as you see fit. And not only the broker portal, the client portal, but all the different applications we have as well, even the notifications that go out via email are all branded to your logo and to your experience. When we talk about application form, this was really important for us, but you're obviously familiar with this, but you've got quick application, 1 minute application, full application, etc. We're actually changing all of that to have one type of application, but for you to control the modular format of it so that you only ask the questions that you need to as your specific brokerage.
Nice.
So you see full name, email, current address, etc., marital status. Let's say I don't want marital status. I can actually hide that question, and it won't be available immediately in the experience.
Is this the customer side or both side, like broker-led or customer application
so this
side?
is on the client-facing experience.
Client-facing,
okay. So broker-led, you'll still be able to choose what fields you want to enter out. But for things that are available to the consumer, you can control for each specific flow, whether it be purchase, refinance, or pre-approval, what questions you want to ask and what you don't want to ask. Now, some brokerages actually have custom disclaimers, so you can actually add in any additional messaging, anything that you want them to agree to before they move forward. Credit consent, marketing opt-in, etc. But you've got full board control to be able to do and ask the questions you want and add in any disclaimers that you feel are necessary. Now, when we get into a brokerage level, as a broker, I want the ability to override or whatever I set in terms of a theme or application settings, etc. If I turn this feature on and I click override, any agents within my brokerage now do not have the ability to customize it. It's going to be a consistent experience across the entire brokerage, and that allows you to maintain your brand across multiple agents. Same thing goes for the application form, and then we've got an FAQ. So when a client logs in, you have the ability to, if you've got a knowledge repository, which you've got a big one, you have the ability to, put specific questions, frequently asked questions, etc., the answers to them, and this is fully customizable for you. That'll be available on their platform. Now, the last thing to show you is this brokerage URL. We give brokers two options. If you've got a generic website, and let's say we've got chintocapital.ca, if I click apply now, it'll default to you, and then you can essentially triage that deal that just came in to any of the agents within your brokerage. Now, if an agent has their own website, they can simply use their personal setting URL, and they can put that on their website or embed it, and that application will come directly to them.
I see.
So you've got two options. You've got a generic URL for a generic website, or you've got an agent or broker specific URL that will funnel directly to them as well. And you can play both sides of it. So that's our platform in a nutshell. From a costing perspective, I know a lot of people are curious about it. We're $99 a month for agent or broker, regardless of whether it's a monthly or annual subscription. So for us, we actually provide a 2-month trial to users to use our platform. But one of the biggest things we've seen is a lot of the value brokers and agents find in our platform is we displace the cost of Salesforce, displace the cost of Google Drive, Dropbox, MailChimp, etc. And that enough is alone to be able to justify the cost of our platform.
Yep.
And beyond that, a lot of the stuff we have in our roadmap is not actually an additional expense. It's all loaded within that $99 monthly fee.
So this $99 is like, say, for one account or for the whole, like, say that I have 20 agents there,
Yep.
right? So it's 99 per agent if I sign it up as a brokerage, or 99 for the brokerage one fee, and then doesn't matter how many.
Yeah, so it's $99 per user. So
user.
an agent or a broker signing up, that's going to be the fee. Now, if you're a brokerage, we offer enterprise pricing as well. So if you're a brokerage that has 10 or more members of your team, we offer significant discounting when we're getting an entire brokerage on board onto the platform. But yeah, we give the option for an individual agent or broker to sign up themselves and use the platform, or to onboard their entire brokerage onto it as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sounds good. And the support is, I guess.
Yeah, support is our version of an FAQ.
Yeah.
So we've got support here. You have the ability to chat with us directly as well. One of the biggest things you're going to notice is our support structure is immediate. So the minute you file a request, you answer a question, you've got our direct emails. So it's a very different structure than what people are traditionally used to, in a sense that brokers and agents have direct access to the founders and to members of the development team. Because one thing that also differentiates us is, while we are a tech company and we're pushing the boundaries of what our capabilities are, we're ingesting information and we're onboarding brokers as quick as possible, we wouldn't be where we are today without the brokers using our platform.
Yes.
So we heavily rely on brokers giving us feedback.
Yes.
Now, there's a distinction to be made, because brokers who give us feedback, it doesn't go into a back burner and it sits there forever and we don't action on it. A lot of what we do for brokers who are actively on our platform, we actually canvass them every month to say, here's the feedback we've received. We'd like you to vote for what you think is the most important feature. And we actually take their feedback directly. We get them involved in testing, give us continuous feedback so that we can continue to iterate on the platform and make it the best possible experience for not only that individual agent, but for the brokers to run a little bit better as well.
Very nice.
So yeah.
Good. So I guess we'll end the interview here.
Sure.
Thank you, Mohammed.
Thank you for this interview and then for learning a little bit more about mortgage and what we have to offer.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there you have it. Interview with wonderful person, CEO of Moregidge Inc, Mohammed. Now I'm going to give you some extra bonus, okay? If you click on the link that you see, and I'll also put it on the description in the video, you are going to enjoy the early free access, which normally is $99 a month, just by clicking on that link and follow the instruction. It's quite simple. It just takes less than 1 minute and it will be done. Okay? So please go ahead. Click that link. It's a long link, but just click it. Go to the video description and click the link, and let's get started. Enjoy the free early access. Okay? Thank you.